A year ago, we launched a series here on News Nation focusing on missing person cases that were not getting national attention. We are continuing that series every Thursday here on News Nation Live. And this morning, we are revisiting a case that still remains a mystery nearly 16 months later. It is the story of a young geologist named Daniel Robinson, who vanished in the Arizona desert. And in a moment, Daniel's dad, David, will be joining me live. But first, a look at Daniel's disappearance. Tonight, we start our series, Missing in America, taking you to where the people were last seen, meeting these families and bringing you their stories. And we begin tonight with Daniel Robinson.
This is the area in Buckeye where his vehicle was found. This is remote. The terrain is extremely treacherous.
Daniel Robinson was 24 when he disappeared, a geologist working his dream job in the Arizona desert. A co-worker says Robinson left his job site on the morning of June 23, 2021. His Jeep, found a month later, crashed in a desert ravine. Robinson's keys, cell phone, and wallet were still inside, his clothing in a pile just outside the vehicle. But no sign of Daniel.
I do my job and find my son. He's my son, I'm his father, and it's my job.
For nearly 16 months, David Robinson hasn't given up on that job, searching the desert and bringing in his own private investigator. They took News Nation's Nancy Liu to the crash site. The investigator says too much doesn't add up, including red paint transfer on the side of the Jeep.
The vehicle was tipped over on the passenger side, so there's no red paint in this area. So how that got there, that's why I'm saying that vehicle did not crash here. That vehicle was, its last place of rest was here, but something was going on with that vehicle.
He notes other inconsistencies in the crash report.
The vehicle had 11 additional miles on it from the time the airbags deployed. It had 46 additional ignition cycles on it after the airbags deployed.
But Buckeye police say there's no evidence of foul play and have resisted a deeper investigation. The private investigator is also no longer on the case, but Robinson has finally convinced an outside law enforcement agency to go through Daniel's computer and cell phones for any clues.
They saw some of the things that I was seeing, and they wanted to look into it themselves.
While he waits for any information, he holds vigils.
As you guys know, I've been here over a year searching for Daniel.
And has organized dozens of searches.
Still don't have the answers that we're looking for. But we thank you for coming out here. It really means a lot to us.
Covering more than 23,000 acres, using four-wheelers and on foot. On at least two separate occasions, volunteers found human remains, which turned out not to be Daniel's.
Even though we didn't find Daniel, but it gave you some relief a little. That, we was able to bring some other families some type of closure.
He raises money on GoFundMe and takes every opportunity to speak about his son's disappearance.
I'm just here to bring awareness to my son's case.
Even appearing at CrimeCon in Las Vegas. Robinson has created a robust social media presence, a sophisticated website documenting coverage of the case, and weekly live online updates. All to keep his and other cases in the spotlight.
I'm blessed that I have a small platform, especially on YouTube presence, as well as TikTok and Twitter. In that doing so, I'm able to also help other families. I had other families on my Q&A to be able to tell their stories as well.
This Army veteran with a new mission in life, one he says he'll never give up.
No matter what, we will not leave a soldier behind. My son, he's my son, and I'm definitely not leaving him behind. That's thank you.
Local police investigating continue to say they have no evidence of foul play in Daniel's disappearance. Joining me now is Daniel's dad, David Robinson. David, you and I have spoken a number of times over the last year since Daniel's disappearance. By watching this story again, finding him must be all-consuming. You changed your life, moved across the country to search.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Yes, it's been very trying for me and my family, Daniel's siblings, his mother. It's been very trying being out here trying to get the answers that we're looking for. You can imagine after a year now still searching for Daniel and not having all the answers that we're looking for is very troubling in our mental state. It's really, really hard struggling and working with the law enforcement on the outside of Buckeye, trying to get more law enforcement more involved to a point where there's an urgency there. I'm still looking for that urgency after a year. A lot of urgency that will definitely give me more answers, but I'm still on the job. I'm still on the job, putting on my investigative hat, as well as being a father, but also being able to help others as I'm taking this journey.
David, I said a moment ago, Buckeye Police, they have a timeline on their website. They say they're still actively investigating, but there's no evidence of foul play. After all of your investigative work and being so close to this case, do you believe that?
Well, according to my investigator, I did hire a private investigator, and all the information that we gave them from tangible evidence of the red transfer paint, for instance, 11 additional miles, pressure on the windshield, the fact that we don't even know it's Daniel's clothing that's on the ground, haven't been forensically tested. Those type things will, in my opinion, based on my family knowledge of my son. I've been there from the time he was born. We have a great indication about the way Daniel thinks. So you put all that things in combination that will suggest foul play. Against what the Buckeye Police Department feel, I feel there's more to the story.
And you questioned, David, the timeline as well. What stands out to you that may be inaccurate about the timeline?
Well, one of the biggest things is the person that's last seen this person should be, that story should be vetted very well. And we later found out in my investigation, his story just didn't match the timeline. He said my son left, for instance, the well site at 9:15, but yet my son made a phone call, his final phone call to him at 9:28. Those calls and the desire my son sent a text message to ask for the location came unanswered. So again, like I said, my son called at 9:28. I'm assuming to ask for direction. So the timeline is not right. When the timeline is not right, you really have to scrutinize that story a little more.
David, this is a tough question to ask, and I'm sorry for asking it, but do you feel as though Daniel is still alive?
I have to. That's the only one that's one of the things that keep me going. Is also crucial for my family, his mother. We're people of faith. We believe in God. We believe in miracles. Though sometimes I look at everything that I have evidence-wise that would suggest other things, I still keep that hope and that faith because we don't have those answers of where Daniel is located. So I always have to keep that faith that somehow I'm going to bring my son home alive. And I really want to believe that. And I'm going to continue to believe that.
I appreciate that. And David, as we look at pictures of Daniel on the screen, there's one video that I just love where he's standing outside and snow is falling on his face. He's got this great big smile. I want you to share with people at home your son, his personality, who he is, and what you miss most about him.
Yeah, Daniel's very free-spirited. You probably can tell by the pictures. He's loved by a lot of his friends. He's a very friendly person. He loves nature. That's the reason why he's a geologist. That's why he came out to Arizona. He wants to be able to be in tune with nature. Also, he's a very family-oriented person. He definitely keeps the family together. Like I said, he shows a lot of love to his family. We love him back. One thing I miss the most for me, on my perspective, is having a conversation with my son. My son always come to me. He come to his mother. He calls all the time. We keep in contact with each other. But for me, just having that 2-hour conversation that we normally have, where he's asking questions, he's wanting to know things, he get advice, his entrepreneur spirit, what he want to do in life. He always plan things and always look on the positive light. I miss those things about my son.
And do you think about what you would say to him now if he could hear you?
Yes, of course. I've been here over a year searching for you. I'm not giving up. He's my son. I love him dearly. I'm here to fight. That's what fathers do. He know I have his back, and I'm here for him. No matter what, I'm definitely here and want to make sure I bring him back. And I'm not going to let anyone stop me. I want him to know that.
Amen. David, you have become such a powerful voice for so many other families that you have come in contact with who are also trying to find their loved ones. What has that support and getting to know these families meant for you and giving you hope in your case as well?
Yes. One thing, it's always something light at the end of the tunnel. It's definitely been a long experience. But in that experience, when you're a person that just have a missing loved one in your family, you're unaware of what other people are going through as well. I found out this is not unique to my family. There's other struggling families that don't even have a voice, so be able to talk to people all the time and hear their stories, it caused me to be passionate. I couldn't be human without answering those calls. I just want to make sure that I'm helping the other families as much as I can through my journey. doing everything I can. That's the reason why I have the Daniel Robinson Foundation, as well as other events and things I do to try to make sure I can get other people's story out there. Very passionate about that. Want to help everybody I can. It's my duty and my journey as well to be able to do that.
Well, you're a great dad and you've got a big heart, and I know you've got a big support system behind you as well. And the most important thing is keeping Daniel's story in the headlines. We're glad to partner with you as you do that, David Robinson. Thank you for giving us some time.
I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
My best to you. And if you have any information on the location of Daniel, if you have any information in this case, the Buckeye Police Department are still actively investigating. You can also go online to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com.
Hello, everybody. This is David Robinson. Just wanted to do a update on the GoFundMe. Just wanted to first of all tell you guys thank you so much for your constant love and your support. All those who have donated to this point, you guys have been very crucial to everything I have been doing here in Arizona. My fight for Daniel, my love for my son. You guys know that I did travel from South Carolina over 2,000 miles, not knowing what to expect when I got to Arizona. I was just driven by my passion and my love for my son. My drive was to go rescue my son, and that's the only thing I had in my mind. Once I arrived to Arizona, you guys can imagine trying to get answers, riding the street, my daughter and I traveling, doing all our due diligence that we can to try to locate Daniel. I realized quickly it became really expensive to be in Arizona. I didn't know what to do. I knew one thing, one thing for sure. I didn't want to immediately knew that I wasn't going to leave Arizona without Daniel. I needed to find a way to stay there, and I needed the means and the resources to go search for him. I was spending many days outside of Sun Valley Parkway at that gate with my binoculars, looking out in that desert without being able to go out there to search for him, without having those means, and wonder what I can do. I was able to put in together an idea to go out in that search. I'm a veteran, and I've been to Afghanistan, and I know the dangers of the desert. Of course, first thing I did is want to reach out to the public for help. And like I said, I needed those resources. I did talk to my daughter. My daughter, she introduced GoFundMe to me, and it's been a lifeline. You guys know that I've been struggling to try to stay in Arizona. Like I said, I'm a soldier. Want my boots on the ground. I like to use that terminology to keep my boots on the ground to fight for my son. I've been fighting for this country. I know what it takes. We're trained to not to leave a fallen comrade, for instance, in the desert out there of Afghanistan or any war condition. But my son, when I was traveling Arizona, the first thing I thought in my mind, I love my son. I knew I couldn't get this emotional thing because if I did, I'd become less effective. That's some things I learned in the military. I become complacent, and I need to fight for Daniel. So I made Daniel my mission. And like I said, one thing for sure, you do not leave fallen comrade in the military, but you definitely don't leave your son behind. And I needed to fight for that. My daughter introduced a GoFundMe to me, and it's been a lifeline. You guys not only supported my efforts to be in Arizona to fight for Daniel, to help the law enforcement at the time to search for Daniel, but you also were champion to me getting my desert searches, providing those equipments like the quads, razors, different other equipment and things like that, stuff for the volunteers, all my efforts. But I wanted to share a screen with you guys today. Try not to make this too long, but wanted to give you an idea of what some of the things that I have done. It's not everything, but try to get much as I can. Idea of things I've been doing since I've been in Arizona, and what I'm continually trying to do now. So I'm a novice at this, still trying to put things together, how to share screens and things like that. But what I want to do is point out this is the GoFundMe. You guys, I started off with the GoFundMe, didn't know what to ask for. I think I started off with $10,000 was what I was asking you guys to help with. Like I said, that was to help keep me in Arizona. And then the other part, once I started searches, I moved that on to $20,000. and then as the time went by, to adjust as I go as needed in my efforts. The efforts became bigger, the searches became bigger, the efforts outside of the desert became bigger, following leads and things like that. I had to hire a private investigator and things like that. So all of that together in combination started making my needs a lot bigger, and so I started adjusting the GoFundMe as time had permitted or needed, as things as needed, not pre-do it because I didn't know what to expect, but as it went. But you guys got me here right now at $312,249, and I really am grateful of that 350,000 goal. And what I want to explain to you guys is the money's been utilized as time go by. I'm constantly using the money to be able to take care of all the efforts I have here in Arizona to find Daniel. As you guys know, we go back at the beginning. You guys, when I started to go from 16 months ago, you guys, it's been, I can read this thing here, one of my first updates, nearly a month on June 20th or July 20th, Daniel's vehicle, 2017 Jeep Renegade. And the reason I put July the 20th is actually found on July the 19th. At that time, July 20th, go to Buckeye Police Department, didn't alert me about my son's vehicle being found until the July the 20th. Matter of fact, you guys know the story now. They told the person who found it on July the 20th not to alert the family, don't alert the media, and they kept that a secret. And then, even though I was out there in the desert, by this time I was already out in the desert searching for Daniel. They said they didn't want to tell me because they didn't want to disturb my sleep. Don't want to get into that, but I just want to tell you guys, it's nearly a month later, July 20th, Daniel's vehicle, 2017 Jeep Renegade, has been located 4 miles. It's actually about 3 miles from the job site. Daniel was last seen on June 23rd. Daniel was not in the vehicle. However, several of his belongings, including the wallet, cell phone, has been found at the location. The vehicle is believed to have been tumbled down the ravine, wreck line on the side. The Buckeye Police Department does not suspect foul play and did not do any forensic work to justify their claims. Thanks for your donations. So far, we are using funds to hire our own forensic specialist to conduct the necessary testing, exhausting all possibilities. The Buckeye Police Department have done searches in the surrounding area in attempt to locate Daniel with no luck. However, we still conducting volunteer ground searches on our own to continue the search. To find more information, you go to please visit searchfordaniel.org. You guys, I changed that website just to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Pleasehelpfinddaniel.com was the original website for my family. I added the searchfordaniel.org to do just for the searches. But now if you go to searchfordaniel.org, it'll redirect you back to Please Help Find Daniel. I thought I put everything in one website eventually. To find all the details of the searches, visit pleasehelpfinddaniel.com to see all other information and reports regarding this case. Thanks. So, guys, I've been doing the efforts, as it says there, to start trying to find an investigator and things like that on my own. Of course, I did another update. You guys, it's constantly out. We can go through all the days. You can go to GoFundMe. Guys who are already here on the GoFundMe on this update, you can go down to the updates and start looking at things. But this is around the first days when I was doing all the desert searches, all my desert efforts, going to the desert. This is the gate of Sun Valley Parkway, the gate that we go through near near the Cactus Road, Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road. But this is the gate that we go through, and that goes to that 1 mile west out into that desert, and then you go 2 miles north to get to that well site that Daniel was last seen. Of course, you guys, over the time, my efforts became bigger. Like I said, it came outside the desert. I know it just couldn't just be the desert search. Also had to be a city search. I started a city search, going out in the cities, going to hospitals, to mental health wards, to the homeless population, trying to locate Daniel. And those required flyers. So I started creating flyers. I had these bigger, huge flyers, and then I ended up with these flyers here, this kind of flyer with that kind of back. Given a reward of $10,000 is what I have to put towards at the time to put towards any information that would bring Daniel back. A reward of $10,000 is being offered by the family, or information that forward information that brings Daniel back home to his family, right? So I've been doing that, guys. Like I said, and also follow leads. Of course, the searches got bigger, and then with the searches getting bigger, it's been more demand. So as the time goes, of course, I've hired my private investigator here. I still been continuing my efforts outside the desert, doing interviews from CNN to going to do podcasts, and also traveling to go do other interviews and stuff like that. Over progress of time, I end up in places like Crime Con in Vegas and doing some things. So long story short, my efforts are bigger now, because one of the biggest things is to make sure I'm constantly keeping Daniel's names out there, constantly keep him present, because Daniel's case went nationally, but you have to keep it that way, right? Because when the news cycle start shutting it down, then from that point you have to do it yourself. That's why I tell a lot of families as is now. You have to do it yourself. You have to be your own media. And so, long story with that, I was able to get the billboards up at this point and things like that. The billboards from the east side of Phoenix all the way out to the west towards Buckeye to try for my efforts. There's so many things, you guys. Money been spent in a lot of different ways for my efforts to find Daniel. Again, here it is, the Crime Con there as well. Efforts to find Daniel. And then so it took a lot. So I'm saying, guys, when I say I'm doing updates, these are active updates. Active when I'm actively working hard to find Daniel. I need constant funding. It's not something that is built this one time. You guys have built up to that 300 and when I said 312,000 249. It built up to this month over a year's time. It didn't come up here off of initial. Like I said, it was 10,000. Then I asked for 20, moved the goalpost up to 20,000. Then I move it up, and as I move it up, it kept moving up as needed for funding. If the need had stopped, for instance, and I found Daniel, then the goal would have stopped. But I had to keep going for it. I had to even get. I don't like to ask for money. I don't like to ask for it. It's one of the humbling things in life when you're asking people to donate. I had a lot of people on the outside that's talking to me as well. Had to encourage me to do these updates like I'm doing right now, to ask for more funding, to keep my efforts to find that, because I'm losing, you guys. I'll be honest with you, I'm losing it. My efforts to remain in Arizona, my efforts to bring the searches back up to continue, because I did. You guys, I put in. Let me go get off the screen right now. I put in over 40 some weeks of searches, almost 50 weeks of searches, and also 35,000 acres of land that I covered. So with the searches, with the volunteers, and I'll come to tell you that it's very a lot. It's a lot. We covered a lot of ground. I was able to do a lot. Put a lot of efforts in. Like I said, it was just like I said, needs. The needs have kept growing and growing, and it's still there. But right now, I'm pushing the corner right now that I had to make some hard decisions. And my hard decisions is heartfelt, because I don't want to leave my son behind, and I'll continue to fight. So I had to reach out to the public again, ask you guys to keep me in Arizona. Keep me in Arizona if you can. Donate to get me to that goal, to keep me in Arizona, keep me in the fight. Like I said, I just keep constantly that goal, that 350 did not move yet. It been there for a long time. It's taken a long time, for months now, and I'm trying to get to that goal. That next threshold will help me um, for the next efforts, help me to keep going. Right now, the good part is, you guys, right now I'm like working with law enforcement, outside law enforcement agency outside of Buckeye. As you guys may know, some of you may not know, but I was able to convince a law enforcement agency outside of Buckeye to take Daniel's forensics on his electronics. That means the cell phone, Daniel's cell phone, to get more information from the cell phone that I already got the first time, and also two other cell phones that was found near the scene here, this crash site, as well as all the other electronics, his work computer, his personal computers at home, other electronic devices. All that has been done now. It's too hard work. If I wasn't here on the ground in Arizona and you guys keeping me here, I would not be in at these meetings, fighting for Daniel, and being able to get law enforcement, convince them and push them to do the forensics on the electronics, right? That's still forensics to get done. Got to get done on his vehicle, excuse my orientation. Got to get done on his clothing that was found on the ground. My orientation is bad. But, you guys got to imagine, those clothing in my family, we cannot identify those clothes. We don't even know those damn clothes. Those clothes could be stage clothes for somebody else. Mind you, there was other clothes found near the well site in my searches. The Buckeye have been saying they did searches out there. They didn't find a construction cone out there. But my searches have been fruitful. We found other clothes in a pile that don't get heard about all the time near the well site. That was in the same manner as his clothing here on the ground by my son's vehicle. So we need that forensically tested to see if it's Daniel's clothes. We don't recognize those clothing. There could be anybody's clothing on the ground. Also, the boots. Make sure everything's okay with that. Also, uh, uh, interior of the vehicle. The forensics need to be done there. The airbags. There's red transfer paint that was found on the side of the vehicle. Those things need to be tested as well. So we got to make sure that those things get tested. And so I'm trying my best to force law enforcement to do it now. I found some legal challenges where if I would have, thank God, get it done outside law, wish I had one cell phone, but get things done outside of law enforcement, it kind of breaking the chain of custody type deal. And, I'm trying not to hurt Dane's case more farther than what Buckeye have done, in my opinion, how they had damaged Dane's case. And so being able to be here in Arizona, be in Arizona and fight you guys, I had to really fight. And I really ask you guys to help me remain, help me push me to that point, to stay active in Arizona, keep fighting in Arizona. I want to be in Arizona to fight. So I need that as well as trying to get this searches back up and things like that. I really need an effort. I do have the Daniel Rawson Foundation, you guys. Thank God. I've been working really hard with that. My team and I, we got Daniel Rawson Foundation to be able to help other families and also try to help Daniel case situations as well, but definitely help other families. And so it's not just my efforts here to fight for Daniel, but to help other families as well. So I just need your help. If you guys can get me to that goal, 350,000. That would bring me to a point where I can stay active a lot more in Arizona and try to fight for Dan to continue this fight, continue this effort. I also you guys, a lot of you, I know it's a lot of you to share Daniel's story. Please share his story to help me keep Daniel's story out there. Try to hit some of these celebrities up, somebody who can just say a word, and it blow Daniel's story up and get it out there. And this person that may know something, heard something, can say something. That's what I'm looking for. So yeah, I just want to get off. I just want to really ask you guys for your help again. And try to explain to you it's like everything I'm doing in Arizona is towards you guys been donating. I've been doing towards my ability to stay in Arizona, and also, like I said, the efforts in Arizona, the searches in the past that I have paused now. But I want to back up a little bit too. I do have searches continuing right now. I don't call them searches anymore. I do have one coming up in December as well, where I have private searches in a way, not public searches, but they are private searches, and the searches for those private moments are myself when I go out to the desert alone, or I go with a few people, one or two people, or like I am this time, going with a small group of about 20 people or less. We have a little small group. We're going out to do forensics work. Some real scientific stuff. So I'm really grateful to ASU for helping the department helping as well, and some of these other forensic experts that want to help. So I'm telling you guys, I really need to be present in Arizona to be effective, to be able to help other families as well, but be effective. I'm advocating for change in the system. There's a lot of things that police departments are, and I'm not bashing police. I'm pro police, but I'm against anti anything wrong with policing. But definitely, this is a state where there's a lot of missing persons cases and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stuff like this going on where the family go report their loved one missing. They're telling them wait 12 hours. There's no policy for that. Nobody should ever be telling a family that. There's no policy. So when officers start doing that, they're being negligent and really helping the problem that we are facing. That problem is finding loved ones immediately, because we know the first 20 4 hours or less. The first 24 hours or less is the most crucial. You know, that's it. It's crucial. You got to try to get it quick. You got to get it quick. You got to get these answers quick because that's what happened to Daniel. They just assumption. There's a big assumption, you guys. You already know that. Um, I reported them missing. They said they was gonna send a helicopter out the next morning, which they should have did tonight. I was questioning that. Then the next morning to come, they said they was gonna do it. Then they called me back, say, "Oh, we cancel it. It's been unauthorized because his higher ups," he said that Daniel's a grown man. He could disappear if he want to. Nobody tell him. Did Daniel call him and say, "Hey, I'm a grown man and I want to be gone"? That's an assumption. So those assumptions caused my son to be missing all this time, right? It caused them to be less effective to go out and go search that time. So the whole point is I'm making you guys is that because of things like that, if you don't stand on top of that, you're not there. And I'm from South Carolina, of course, and I've had to drive. I drove over 2,000 miles to get to Arizona. I'm that far distance. I can be on the phone. Hey, how's my son's case? The man could be. He could be. I don't say law enforcement do this, but he could. He lay back in the seat with his hand back with the phone on. Hey, Mr. Robinson, yes, we out here right now. We ain't found nothing. We looking hard, you know. No, I mean that's not satisfactory to me. I'm military, like I said. I'm a father. First, I'm a father, and I'm an active person. I'm actively want to be involved. I want to find my son. I will help law enforcement. I work with law enforcement, but law enforcement have to work with me as well. And I'm want to find my son. I can't just take your word for it. We got to be working together. We got to make this thing happen. So that's what I'm saying, you guys. 2,000 miles away would not help me be engaged doing for over 40 some weeks of searches, 35,000 acres of land out in the desert, thousands of flyers, you guys. I put out thousands, look just like this thing behind me, this green screen. Put out thousands of flyers because of you guys. You guys have been supporting that. I put out thousands. Think about this of flyers. People asking them mail to them, getting them mail to them. Since I'm making, got a PDF on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, the PDF make himself. Got flyers. I take that when I took the crime con to Vegas or whatever. Everybody go to the airport. If I have to get to the airport, I put them in the loop. I mean, I get creative with them. You guys have been paying for that. You guys have been supporting me on that. I really appreciate that. And if you guys continue to help me continue to do that, I really appreciate it. God bless you. And I want to get off now because I'm making this too long. A lot of times people say, David, you get long winded, and I do get long winded. But I want to tell you, thanking us from the bottom of my heart. God bless you guys for your love, support, and your help. Some people say, hey, you could do it this way. You could do it. I'm not an expert, you guys. And I say this all the time. I'm not an expert. I'm just utilizing what you guys help me with the best way I can. I utilize it in good faith and trying to do everything I can in the efforts to find my son. Mentally hard, challenging, physically hard, challenging, but ultimately your love have definitely kept me going. And I get times where I get shut down. I need a break. I need to go do something. And it's hard. It's very hard. But when I have you guys have my back like that, it means a lot. It really does. And every time it blesses me. It blesses me again. So again, thank you guys so much. I want to put one more thing down, a banner real quick, right on the bottom of the screen. If anybody have any tips that would bring my son home, that's anonymous tip line. It's a tip line that I pay for. I pay for you, a specific person that knows what happened exactly what happened to my son, who can bring some closure, who bring my son back home. I need you to utilize the number on the bottom of the screen. I pay for this out of my pocket. You guys help me pay for this out of my pocket. Utilize. I want to put us up too. I utilize my own money as well as the GoFundMe money. I use both. Both. I'm a retired military. I use both, and to help my son efforts too. But I do still have a home in South Carolina. I still have a young daughter. I take care of South Carolina, so I have to do both as a back and forth for me personally, right? But I do pay for this tip line for those persons or person who may know something. It's a tip line that's live operators 24 hours, 7 days a week. We'll take your call, very courteous. You can remain anonymous if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to, but definitely you can even correspond back and forth with me anonymously, and I wouldn't even know. My investigator, former investigator now, You contact back and forth to him as well. You know, it was set up that way. And I even had the Buckeye Police Department on it for a while until I decided to take them off, only because I don't work for the Buckeye Police Department and I pay for the service, and they should have been paying for that. But that's another story on that. But also, you guys, like on the bottom of the screen there, it says you can also text the word tip to that number, which you can. You can still take your cell phone. I tell sometimes people who don't like snitch or whatever the case may be, if you want to go buy a burner phone, it's cheap. You go to the drugstore, buy them little track phones, whatever, okay, them little burner phones. If you wanna, if you don't feel like it, make you feel safe. I'm telling you, it's anonymous. This tip line is anonymous. Nobody will know who you are. But if you want to make you feel extra safe, you can get one of those phones, text the word tip to that number. The form will come up. You still could get an option from, even with that phone, you still could get the option to remain anonymous. Give me the information direct. They're gonna bring my son home, and that not, I don't need no suggestions or what you think. I need direct knowledge of what happened to my son, and you can utilize that, and that will help. And I really appreciate that. If you pull on the heartstrings of your life, clear your conscience, whatever you want to call it, be humanity, whatever case, to bring closure to me and my family, and that would help. Also, that's the one to put that out. So thank you guys so much for watching this update for the GoFundMe. I really appreciate it, you guys. God bless you again. If you guys want to come and check out my Q&A every week, every Wednesday. Of course, the time changed now, so every Wednesday it'll be at 7:30 p.m. I'm sorry, not at 7:30 p.m. Arizona time. That'll be Mountain Time, and that's 6:30 p.m. Let me start over. That'll be 6:30 a.m. in California time. That's Pacific time, and then they'll be at 7:30 I keep saying PM. I don't know why I keep saying PM. 7:30 a.m. That's 6:30 a.m. in California, and that's 7:30 a.m. In Arizona. And if you live out on the East Coast, that'd be 9:30 a.m. in the East Coast. But then I also have one that's called a prime time. So it's 2 times on Wednesdays every week. The prime time one is at 6 o'clock Arizona time. That's 5 o'clock California time if you live in California. And then that's 8 o'clock if you are out in the East Coast. So I think I got it right this time. But thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate all my love. My family give love to you. And since this is Thanksgiving, God bless you and your family, everybody you love. Happy Thanksgiving. Please, you guys, like I said in the Q&A today, please, by all means, spend all the time you can with your family. Sometimes we have disagreements with our families. We have these things with our families. But at the end of the day, make sure you show love, because you never leave out the door without telling a person love. You can be mad. You can still say, I love you, because you may not be able to say it again. Life changes on a dime. You might not have a time to ever do it again. So don't miss the opportunity. And woulda, coulda, shouldas ain't going to help, because you have to deal with it for the rest of your life. I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda done this or said this to this person that I really love. We was angry with each other, whatever case may be. But I know I love this person. I might can't stand you. I might not like your ways, but I love you. And, you got to always acknowledge that and tell people that, what happened to my family could easily happen to anybody's family, God forbid. But it happens to people all over this country. But thank you again, you guys. I really thank you for your support and your love. And thank you for constantly supporting and believing in everything I'm doing in Arizona. I'm trying, you guys. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. Thank you guys for everything.